into the cloud. And let us get Pete's outside, Jamie's outside. If the Wi-Fi here was good, I would also, but I think we tried that before and it was too staticky. Here, come on, let's go. Good girl. All right, let's do this. Okay, let's start with some breath work. So, hands on the lower abdomen. Take a deep inhale through the nose and a long exhale through the mouth. And let's do that again. And then a third time. And let's do a little bit of chi belt breathing. So right the center, sort of in alignment with the belly button, that's sort of the level. So it's below the rib cage. And then squeeze in. You don't have to squeeze in super aggressively, but you want to hold some tension. So chi belt breathing is a way to power up the breath and work out the diaphragm, which we don't really think of. So on the inhale, keep that resistance so that it takes a little work, right? To take a full deep breath, like you're pressing against that resistance or you're inhaling against that resistance. So inhale. And as you exhale, you can release maybe 20% of that tension, but keep your hands where they are on the exhale. And then inhale again, squeeze in gently. And then exhale. So this is a way of reminding ourselves also that we don't just breathe forward, right? Our diaphragm expands in all directions. So we breathe into the sides here and into the back, towards the back. That umbrella, when it expands, right? It's expanding in all directions. And then one more nice inhale. And then exhale, let your arms drop down. And let's go into knocking on the door of life. So turning from the hips and the waist. So we start with powering up the breath or even becoming aware of the breath, bringing in nice flow of oxygen. And now we get to disperse it. So we're waking up the lower back, but the energy of the body. Keeping the arms nice and relaxed. Just gently turning. You can even gently look over the shoulder if that feels good. And then come up below the collarbone, opening up the chest, the circulation through the lungs. And then to the very top of the shoulders. And then let's come back down below the collarbone. And then back down to the waist. And start to unwind. We'll go into water waves. So we're still turning, rotating. So allow your hands to glide through the air, letting tension really start to unwind and melt down and out through the fingertips. And then slowly start to unwind. Okay. So now let's go into a little bit of clearing. So this is Tiger Clears the Way. So we start with our tiger claws above the head. This house up here is very, I'm always like touching, the beams and everything. I feel like I'm a jolly green giant. So the palms and hands above the head. So I'll go slowly first as the arms come down, bend the knees slightly, and then the arms go out to the sides as the knees straighten, and then bend back down and straighten. So it's the arms come down and out and then back up, and a little bounce in the knee. So bend and straighten, bend and straighten. And then exhaling through the mouth. Inhale as we come up. So that little bit of pumping action, right, is helping to start generating heat from the bottom up and taking in a significant amount of air that can get pumped through the body into circulation. So literally clearing the way, clearing stress out, exhaling fully so we can take a nice deep breath in after the exhale. And start to slow down. And just notice maybe the heart pumping a little bit faster, but also maybe a sense of increased energy already. So we're going to do something called Nourishing Life. This is, I don't think we've done this before in this class. So come to a wider stance. I have to say, this is a really good exercise for generating strength in the legs. It's about generating strength in the legs and also benefiting the low back and the kidneys, generating heat, and that heat sort of coming up and being dispersed into the kidney area. If you have knee problems, if you want to be a little bit in a shorter stance, that is totally fine. If you want a little bit more challenge, come to a wider stance. So your feet are pointing slightly outward. So you don't want them facing forward. You want them facing out. If you're narrower, still facing out. Okay, so the wider, the more deep into a squat that you are in is going to be a little bit more challenging. And this is sneaky. So we're going to do a round of this for like a minute or so and then come out of it and then do it again. So what you're going to do is very slowly and gently think about keeping the spine nice and long. So what we're going to do is just gently lean over and look to the back of your left foot and then to the front. So I'm sort of leaning over and then coming across to the opposite foot, looking at the inside of your left foot, of your right foot, excuse me, and then to the back of the right foot, and then coming back up. So then leaning back, we're going in the opposite direction now. So leaning, looking at the back of your right foot, the front of your right foot, coming all the way across, looking at the front of your left foot, the back of your left foot, and then up. So you see what's happening is that we're leaning, and then there's a little bit of a rotation of the body down, facing the floor, and then coming in the opposite direction, a little bit of a side bend, and then back up, but really going slowly. So lean over to the right, look at the back of the right foot, the front of the right foot, slowly coming across the front of the left foot, back of the left foot, and then slowly come up. This is why it's sneaky, because it starts to really generate some heat in the legs. Back of the left foot, front of the left foot, slowly coming across, front of the right foot, back of the right foot. So you're actually looking, right? Looking at the back of your foot. So you have to kind of lean a little further and then come forward to look at the front of the foot, slowly come across, front of the foot, back of the foot, and then back up. And now come out of that bend. And just notice, right, that posture is really generating heat. And that heat starts to to rise and be dispersed through the body. So there's an upward motion of heat being generated and rising. And then we counter that with pulling down the skies. So inhale, the arms down, around, and up on the inhale, and then exhale back down. And again, inhale. So now we're pulling energy back down, right? Everything is imbalanced. We have heat being generated and rising up, and now we have the slow cooling descension to counter that. Let's do it one more time. And now we're going to mix it into the lower abdomen. So as the hands float down, bring the hands together so that the fingers touch and that your thumbs touch. Make a little basket right in front of the lower abdomen. So the thumbs are just below the belly button. And then very slowly make small circles right in front of the lower abdomen, just imagining that you have all these ingredients that are put into the pot. And now you're slowly mixing those together in the lower dantian. So you're pulling the energy into the center. And as we do this, still think about the crown of your head reaching up and your feet reaching down so that you have a nice long center line of energy. And we're just condensing right into the lower abdomen. And then we'll do that again. So again, you can be in a more narrow stance, you're still getting the benefit, right? Or a wider stance, feet slightly turned out, whatever feels good for you. And then let's start over to the right first. So look at the back, I should say the side of your right foot, and then the instep of the right foot coming across the instep of your left, the outside of the right, the left, oh my goodness, right, left, you know what I'm talking about. And then over to the left, the front, coming across, and up. And again. So this is called nourishing life, right? We're generating heat and it's being dispersed and disseminated, benefiting the lower back and the kidneys, generating that heat from below. And even though like we're in this sort of squat or this stance, right? As we inhale and come up, think about reaching the crown up towards the sky. Let's do it one more time. And one more time, just joking. Nice and slowly. And then come up. You can bring the feet slightly closer together. And then again, inhale the arms down, around, and up. And exhale. And then inhale. And bring the fingers to touch, the thumbs to touch right in front of the lower abdomen again. And then small circles. Think about pooling this river, this current that's coming up from above and below, mixing into the center. And then the arms drop down. If your feet are not already closer together, you can come back to a more neutral stance, maybe shake them out. And let's go into dragon stretches its tail for the head, neck, and shoulders. So let's start with your hands over to your left. So your palms are facing you and elbows are bent. Take a nice inhale. And as we exhale, turn your palms so they're facing away from you and stretch the palms over to the left side of the room. And as you do that, you're going to turn your head in the opposite direction. And then turn your head back around as we inhale. Again, turn so that your palms are facing you as you inhale. So it's an inhale as everything kind of pulls in, and then slowly exhale, stretching across, and then looking in the opposite direction. And then inhale. And spread those fingers too. Spreading the fingers, the arms, really push so that you're getting a nice stretch through the arms. And as you turn your head, that stretch goes right up into the neck. And then inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Now let's try to make the exhale even longer. So nice, slow exhale, turning the head nice and slowly all the way over. Keep exhaling. And then inhale. Let's do that one more time to the side. Inhale. And now this time, keep the arms extended. And now breathe. Take an inhale while we're still in the stretch. And exhale. And again, inhale. And on the exhale, let the arms come down. You can shake it out a little bit. You might also get a little fatigue in that arm, right? As we stretch or holding that position, it's good. Gentle micro challenges create resilience. Over now to the right side, palms facing you. Look at your palms, right? Little reflection. Imagine that you're seeing yourself. And then exhale, stretching away over to the right side of the room, and then turn your head and look in the opposite direction on the exhale. So again, inhale. Nice, slow exhale. So I was talking to someone. I'm going to continue to talk as we do this, so we can continue. Right? The stretching in Qigong it's particular because we're stretching intentionally where these meridian lines or channels traverse. So it's, yes, we're stretching certain muscle groups, but it's really the lines of tension that we're stretching, because just like a hose, right? If there's too many kinks in the hose, then water is not going to flow through. So we're thinking of these pathways of energy. If the muscles around them are really tight, right, it's going to contract and impede a good flow of energy. So we are really kind of helping the muscles relax to allow these pathways to be much more open. So here, the large intestine channel, the gallbladder channel, even the heart and pericardium channels all run through the inner arm or outer arm and into the neck. And one more time, inhale. And this time, keeping the arms stretched across, turn, and then we'll just pause here, take a nice inhale and exhale. And inhale. And then exhale, the arms drop down. And let's just pause here, close the eyes, just feel the energy. And now let's shake. Shake everything out. Maybe pumping the legs or pumping the wrists, the elbows. Take a nice inhale through the nose and exhale with a and start to slow down. So let's start today with a little open the flow. We've already started the day, starting the flow section with open the flow. And we'll go through the sequence with a little more mindfulness about feeling the roots through the bottoms of the feet, creating that nice anchor. And then we inhale, drawing up as the arms float up. And then exhale through the nose as the arms come down. Inhale. And exhale. And feeling the relaxation through the arms and keeping a softness and lightness all the way through the fingertips. And thinking about the tree roots, right? Thinking about as we inhale, drawing energy up through the feet, through the legs. And this sort of undulation that happens through the body, through the spine, as even simple activity of breathing, right? There's a little bit of an undulation as we come up and down. And as we go through the flows, remembering that most things in nature and most of the things that happen in our bodies happen without us having to think about it. There's an effortlessness that happens, right? We don't have to tell our bodies to breathe. We can change the dynamic of breathing. It's one of those things that is both autonomic and we can control to a degree. Unlike the beating of the heart or digestion, we can't tell our bodies to digest. It just knows how to do it with an effortlessness, usually, hopefully. Right. So that sort of knowing, that intelligence that's beyond our thinking mind, right? That happens in nature. There's a flow and a current that happens, it's natural. And so, what we're doing in this practice is tapping into that, right? That current, that energy, that intelligence, maybe the earth intelligence, our DNA, the association of like our kidneys and the affiliation to the bones, the endocrine system, like our spleen and stomach, and taking in food and digesting it, or our heart pumping blood, all happens without our executive functioning telling it to do so. Right. So relaxing into that, letting this flow be as natural and as effortless as our hearts that continue to pump, our lungs that continue to expand and draw in and release carbon dioxide. We don't have to think for all of these things to happen, and allow this effortlessness in our movements, right? To tap into that. And let's exhale. Bring the arms down into the chi ball for a moment. Like quieting the thinking mind is part of being able to tap into this deeper intelligence. And let's bring our arms up into embrace the tree. So the fingers are pointing towards one another. Keep some relaxation through the wrists. And we'll pause here for a moment in this posture. So feel really rooted in the heels. Relax the shoulders down, thinking about the roots extending through the feet into the earth. And imagine that you're soaking up and drawing energy through the soles of your feet, up through the legs, right into the lower abdomen where it swirls and spirals and takes root. And just imagine again that flowing current up through the soles of the feet, up through the legs, right into the lower abdomen. Like you're siphoning up this nourishing life, being powered up by that earth energy, powering up this lower abdominal dantian area. And then imagine the crown of your head reaching towards the sky, just like a tree reaching up towards the sun. And that sunlight enters the top of the head, right, and creates this warm glow of energy from the top down, down through your head, down through your arms, down through the torso, right into that lower dantian area, mixing with that earth energy and helping to create that fire of transformation. And then let your arms float down. Just pause here. Now we'll go into Enlightened Tiger. So turn slightly to the left. Come back to the center for a moment. Make sure I want to do this first. Okay, we're going to take the back of the fingers together. Come up the center line of the body. So the back of the fingers are still touching, and then turn slightly to the left. And as we do, the arms extend in front and in back, our tiger claws. And the tiger claws stretch down. We come back to the center, and the back of the fingers are together again as we inhale. Come all the way up. Now turn slightly over to the right. The arms extend, tiger claws come all the way down. And then back to the center again. Inhale and exhale. Back to the center. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale. Rising slowly, inhale, turning to the left, stretching the arms forward and back, and exhale down. And for using this flow, right, a metaphor of, what our relationship is to the future and the past. And Enlightened Tiger, right, is using this front arm and tiger claw coming down as a way of releasing any worries about the future. Maybe the stories that we're making up in our mind, right? Clearing away some of those thoughts that are creating worries in the mind. And the hand that stretches to the back is a representation of clearing out anything in the past that we continue to think about. We tend to think about things that we didn't like in the past, or situations that happened that we didn't like, or grief about something that may not have happened, right? So using Enlightened Tiger as a way of releasing, releasing the ruminations, the habituated pattern of thinking about the danger, potential of what might happen, or things that had in the past that we didn't like, right? Clearing that out really so we can make space for not erasing the past or planning for the future, but really maybe thinking about the things that we are grateful for that have happened, the experiences that we've had that have helped to make who we are, like taking and gleaning the gold from the lead. And then instead of thinking and worrying about the future, making space for inspiration and things that bring us joy that maybe we can start to envision and create. Right? So having reverence for certain things in the past, and then being really excited and joyful, inspired about the potential of things that can happen. And now, as we stretch the arms in front, we're going to pause here. So, whatever hands in front, really stretch those fingers apart, and the hand facing the back, the future and present. Now, let's look beyond those fingers in the front, right? Inspiration and joy, possibility. And then turn slowly and look towards the backhand, right? Those times that we really enjoyed, the experiences that we had that fulfilled us. And then look slowly back towards the front hand. And then slowly let the arms come down. And inhale. This time, we're also pausing here. So now the opposite hand's in front, spreading those fingers, looking beyond, right? Clearing out the worries and the cycles of thinking that keep us from experiencing the present moment fully. And then turn slightly, slowly towards that backhand, releasing the lead that maybe we've been carrying from the past. And then reaching and looking through again towards that front arm. And then slowly come down. Now we'll go through that whole cycle on the breath, but this time instead of tiger claws, we're going to have the hands be nice and relaxed. So we still inhale to the center, turn slightly to the left. Now just let the, like your fingertips are paintbrushes, right? Inhale. There's a softness now that we have cleared the lead and the ruminations and worries, and now we have all of the space, this expansiveness, this softness for gratitude and inspiration, which is a lot different energetically than worry and regret and grief or anger. All emotions are important. It's how we are able to connect with and experience life. But we need to learn how to practice being able to allow these expressions to come through fully so they don't stay stuck inside. Emotions, the energy in motion, emotion. It needs movement, it needs expression so that we have a complete cycle and we leave space now for growth and vision and joy. One last time, inhale, exhale, let's bring the arms. Let's go back into embrace the tree one more time. Feeling those roots, feeling the expansiveness from the crown of the head up, and then drawing energy from above the head, through the crown, down through the body and into the lower abdomen. And then from the roots up the soles of the feet, through the legs, where we can be our own alchemist, transforming, creating, really allowing ourselves to experience life, which is only happening now. Let your arms drop down. Let's inhale the arms down, around, and up. And exhale, they float back down. And inhale. And exhale. And one last time, inhale. And then let's bring the feet closer together. Let's end here with bamboo in the wind. Take a nice, deep, juicy inhale and contain it by exhaling through the nose. And when you're ready, you can crack your eyes open. Thank you, everyone. Good to see you. As always, I hope you have a
Thank you.
wonderful, thank you so much. I hope you have a great weekend.
You
You
too.
too.
Me too.
Oh, and so Willie, want to say hi?
Hi, Willie.
She's ready to go through the ball. That's all she wants to do in life. All right. Well, it was lovely seeing all of you. Monday, the tutu school. Next Friday, we're back on here. And then the next yoga in the park is the first Sunday of July, which I think is the 6th.
See you Monday. Have a great weekend.
And yeah, you too. Thanks, Pete. Take care, everyone.
See you. Bye.
Bye.